Folks, we're with my man Bryan Parker here. We're at the Lakeshore Cafe, just catching up. Early morning breakfast.
Supporting local business.
That's right, absolutely. 3257 Lakeshore. And what time is it? 8 o'clock or something?
Right about 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So, give us an update, Mr. Mayor. What's man who's running for mayor of Oakland? Where are we at?
So we are. So I think we are in the process. We're feeling good about where we are. We just closed another finance period. The next 2 weeks, everybody will come out with their reports. As everybody knows, I posted a little bit over 100,000 in the first period.
Yeah.
We exceeded our number again and expect another solid post. So feeling very good about where we are. But
are you close to 200,000 then?
So we will announce what our number is next week.
Will it be shocking?
People will be happy. Again, as is the first quarter.
What's your name, by the way? Courtney. This is Bryan. Bryan, this is Courtney. He's running for mayor of Oakland.
I'll take a coffee too.
Sure.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, cool. And let's talk about the breakfast real quick because you got to catch a plane, right?
Yeah.
So I highly.
So do we want to pause? Or are we letting everybody see?
This is it, man. This is vlogging. This is not like it's not like any of that other crap.
Everybody, you get to see what I'm having for. You get to see.
Not used to video blogging first, but anyway, But he's getting there.
Yeah,
tech man. Yeah.
He's getting there.
They want to know what you're going to order for breakfast.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, folks, you're gonna.
Now, folks, I generally get the Lakeshore's omelet, which is right here, but I might change up today and have New York steak and eggs. So
there we go.
We'll pause for a moment while he makes his decision. Oh, you made your decision. What are you going to get?
Made my decision. Pancake combo.
Oh, there we go.
A little bit of everything.
And pancake combo. Any thoughts about the newly changed mayor's race now that we've got 7? Technically, when the Green Party adds, we're going to have, whenever that is, 8 challengers.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, and just a technical thing, folks.
Yeah,
is
sure.
it work best for the look in the camera or look at you?
Just make.
Yeah, there we go. If you mean by new challenger, we have Dan. I think we had a woman in District 6. I apologize for not remembering her name.
Nancy Seibel.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So look, I think that this race has got to be about ideas, and I think any person that has passion and a commitment for trying to change this city should express those ideas. I do think they should be assured that they can put together a real campaign and be able to get their message out and touch voters and raise money and all the rest of the things. But assuming that these folks meet those conditions, the dialogue only gets better by having more people. So welcome them to the race, respect them, and wish them a spirited contest here.
And so for those viewers who may be seeing you for the first time, give them a view of your message. Why do you want to be mayor of Oakland?
Yeah. So we gotta take another quick pause.
Courtney's gonna take the order. So he's ready. He's ready. Yeah. So I'm gonna have the New York steak.
You wanna try it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
You want steak and eggs or a sandwich?
Steak and eggs. Yes.
How would you like your steak cooked?
Medium well. Yeah, medium well. Yeah.
Your eggs?
My eggs I take over easy. Yeah.
And toast?
Toast is English muffin.
Would you like sour cream on the potatoes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
He's next.
I'm gonna have the pancake combo, please.
How would you like your eggs?
Scrambled soft.
You have a blueberry pancake special too.
No.
And that's really good, actually. Yeah.
I'll pass. Just the regular one.
She's a good salesperson.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, again, your message regarding.
So my message is about how do we get to. Everybody talks about a safer Oakland, and rightly so. I think our path of getting to a safer Oakland is looking at the inequities that exist in our city, both social and economic, and trying to go to the heart of those and trying to eradicate them. I think we've got to get rid of 2 Oaklands. For a long time, people have talked about the hills versus the flatlands, and I think as long as we continue to perpetuate the story of 2 Oaklands, I think these inequities will continue to exist. When these equities continue to exist, and you have such differences in education levels, in employment levels, in economic levels, I think that feeds into our crime. So my plan is to go to the heart of that. We will make the city safe by evening up the playing field. Certainly we need to increase the number of officers, and I think I'm going to be the only one that comes with a plan to be able to fully fund the amount of officers that we need. But policing and making our city safe is about more than just adding officers. They certainly need the additional resources, and we applaud our men and women that put their lives on the line every single day. But just super quick, I think it's also about community policing. I think it's about cleaner neighborhoods. I think it's about education and jobs. And I think education and jobs is the nexus where this hopelessness for many people in our city exists, and that must be eradicated. That is our mission. And I think if you look at all that, we call it our 5-point plan. There's 5 points. Plus one, and the one is technology. I think we can leverage the use of technology to be able to increase efficiency and make our city safer, because what it does, if properly used, say we can get the number to 800, it can have a multiplier effect on that 800 and make that 800 seem like 1,000 or 1,200. That's what we are advocating.
The viewer is probably going to say, well, how are you going with your plan that you said that, you ready to talk about that plan right now? Or?
Yeah, so I will say this. I will give a broad outline, and we'll be coming with more specifics as we put out our policy papers.
Sure.
But I will say it involves out-of-the-box thinking, things around the path to home ownership, where I think the city can actually raise money to pay for some of these things. Number 2, public-private partnerships, which will be a cornerstone of my economic development plan. I think we have to think, again, beyond the 4 corners of the paper, and not just think about the money that the city has, but as the city enters these relationships with other partners, what are the monies that we could put to use for other things?
Right.
Number 3, looking and taking a really hard look at the inefficiencies that may exist within the budget. Where those inefficiencies exist, get rid of those. Already looking at the budget, we've seen millions of dollars that could be better used and put on police. Number 4 is growth, a growth agenda. But while we take our time, and while the economy starts on this growth trajectory, the question will be, while we're at 624 on our way to 800, how do we help every citizen in Oakland feel safe? Some of that is going to have to involve partnerships, and partnerships with other organizations like the Alameda County Sheriffs. I've talked to OPOA, and they are supportive, I think, of getting help in the interim, because the whole goal is drive down response times, violent crimes, robberies, other class 1 type crimes, and then grow our police force. I am extraordinarily dedicated towards making sure that every citizen in this city feels safe, whether they're at home, at their place of business, or out and about town, and committed to standing behind the men and women that put their lives on the line for the city every day, and getting them the resources that they need to better be able to do their job.
And what's your feeling regarding, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this before, Coliseum City,
Sure.
and the situation with the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, and so before we move to Coliseum City, I think the last thing on safety.
Absolutely, sure.
I want people to know, for those of your viewers or readers who are just getting to know me, this the safety issue is not something that I just pick up in a book. I come to this work, and people may say, "Well, why? You're doing this stuff outside of city government. You seem to be making a nice living. Why are you coming to do this?" One, I love Oakland. This is where I'm going to raise my family, and this is, I know, not the Oakland that I grew up in love with. The other thing is that crime has touched me in an extraordinary personal way. So for those of your viewers who don't know my story, I had a sister that was taken from us, and she was killed in circumstances like exist here in Oakland. So it's my mission to get up every day and make sure that families don't have to know the kind of pain that my family has known, because it's not only families that are affected. It's a community. It's the people.
Your sister was kidnapped?
My sister was killed.
In Oakland?
No, my sister was killed in LA, but the circumstances around her death are much like the tough circumstances that we see here.
Right.
And so I think to bring true change, again, we have to go back to the systemic factors: clean neighborhoods, better education, jobs. So what gets me up in the morning is making sure that those things exist, so families don't have to know that pain. and that communities, because she was a member of a job. She was at a church.
Yeah.
Her son was at a school. So when this kind of thing impacts us, it not just impacts the family, it impacts and starts to tear at the thread of society. And I'm glad that our murder rate is down from 2012 to 2013. But 92 murders, 92 people lost is still a travesty. I think that we should have very bold, ambitious goals of saying, look, that should be 75% of what it is. I'm sorry, 25% of what it is. Getting my math in the reverse. I really am a finance guy and I do know my numbers. But in a serious way, I think that we've got to put our foot down as a society and say enough is enough. We are not going to accept a norm in this city that says robbery is okay, that says violence is okay, and that says murder is okay. That's going to stop with me, and what gets me out of bed for this work definitely starts with my family, but it's an empathy that gives me the ability to look across and say other families, or people that have been the victims of home invasions, or had their cars broken into, or even those carpoolers that were robbed as they were trying to get to their jobs. Safety is the broad issue, but what I want your listeners in all of Oakland to realize is that there's a lot of stuff under that, and I think that I have the capabilities and the passion to come in and get this solved. I know you had a question about Coliseum City,
Right,
but I
your
wanted
thoughts
to...
about it, yeah.
So I'll say at a high level, sports teams, and we talked about this in our interview last time, are an important part of the culture in the city. But as mayor, I have a responsibility to the taxpayers to make sure that our funds are used in the most judicious fashion, and that they're used in accordance with what I call priority-based budgeting. And what priority-based budgeting would mean is, look, first dollars go to safety, because that seems to be the issue that's on the table for most Oaklanders. So in terms of private dollars going into something like that, I'd be very reticent and very leery, especially since we still have bonds outstanding on that Coliseum that go back 20 years. So when I look at Coliseum City, I see wonderful opportunities, and now we've brought in a partner, and I applaud City Hall for doing that. That's the kind of public-private partnership that I'm talking about. However, we've spent $3 to $4 million developing those plans as a city. I think those $4 million could have been better used and put on safety oriented education. When you have public-private partnerships, the city is coming with land, it's coming with development rights, it's coming with zoning and a bunch of other things that it can trade for the private partner in this case. And in my opinion, we should have had a lot more private dollars going in to see if this is a workable endeavor. In terms of the teams, what I have been told is that it could work with as few as one team out there. I don't believe that. I think that you would really need two teams to make Coliseum City work. I think that you have to really figure out how do you get safety under control in the area, and how do you do adjacent development, because what they're talking about with Coliseum City, and I think you know, is replicating something like LA Live. Right. And that is that we would have people there for not just sports, but for an entertainment experience. Right. That would be a destination. They would spend hours
hotels
there.
And everything else.
They may go. So I think until we get the safety thing under control, that plan, to me, I don't know that it entirely holds water. Now, one of the things that...
How do we retain the Raiders and the Warriors and everybody else? And the A's?
Well, so we can go in order again. I don't know that my answers are so much different than the ones that I gave you last time.
Right.
With the Raiders, I think, again, it is... they want a new stadium. The public money is likely not to be there. Instead of a $1 billion new stadium, do you think about a $100 million makeover, renovation, something like Cal did, right? Stanford got a new stadium. There wasn't enough money at Cal. We did a renovation. Looks great, attracts a lot more viewers, that sort of thing. And it's hard to justify a bunch of public money for a sport where there are 8 games a season. And I grew up, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Raider fan. That's how I think about it. But we've got to be more business-friendly to them. We've got to be partners with them. We've got to think about how do we bring more business to them that can fill up the luxury suites, that can do the advertising, because I think under the right conditions, they can be a powerful partner to the city of Oakland, and we should do all we can in an economically responsible way to retain them. On the A's, so as a port commissioner, I'll be prohibited from saying too much, because one of the sites that's being talked about is Howard Terminal.
Right.
And so we will be deliberating the uses of that. And one of the things that governs what we can do with that site is the State Tidelands Trust Act, and it limits what kinds of activities go on there. I will say this, and this is just Bryan Parker as a citizen, as potential mayor. I will always work within the laws. But again,
The trust does grant exemptions.
the trust, and that is where I'm
Because
going.
I worked with them in the past.
You're 100% right. My administration, as I've said to you before, will be about innovation and trying to think outside the box. So we'll always be compliant. But to your point, if there's an exemption and that makes sense for the people of the city of Oakland, then we will try it. What I will say in a general sense is, if there can be an activity, and the A's could certainly be one such activity, that could be transformative to that area from an economic perspective, I think we owe it to ourselves to fully explore that. And what do I mean by that? Well, baseball, you have 82 home games. You add some concerts and some other things. You could be talking about having an event down there every third day of the year, okay? There could be a park developed, bike trails, all the rest of it, public use for people to come and enjoy with their families.
This looks good. There's these
there we go.
pancakes and eggs.
Thank you.
Looks good. And my English muffin, and most of all, yummy.
Like some more coffee?
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
There we go.
Looks good, doesn't it? Look at that. That's a great spread.
It's
Wow.
a great. Always do a great job here.
Hey, on matter of administration, there's a. Do you have an idea? Who's going to be your CAO? Because there's rumors floating around you'll hire this person or that person. You know.
Yeah, and if I can just finish that answer real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I think that the key the key to making the A's work and making it work for the city is in changing that from a sporting only experience to an entertainment experience.
Right.
If you look at what they did in San Francisco, the ballpark being down on the waterfront changed it from, yes, you have diehard Giants fans over there, but now you have the casual fans that want to bring their kids, they want to eat sushi, they want to go and play in the outfield and slide down the big glove.
Yeah.
We could do that same thing in Oakland. The transformative impact on top of that is that the bars and restaurants that are there in Jack London Square, they'll be even more full by the volume of people. My thought is that we can also bring then retail down there, because you'll have so many people, and we know estimates are all over the place, but I think a middle of the road estimate would be that $3 billion of retail, we have a $3 billion retail leakage in the city each year.
Right.
That's lots and lots of tax dollars that are escaping. So if you do something like that, it's not only about the A's, which is great, and again, I'm a sports fan, but it's prudent with our money. It has a follow-on impact in terms of taxes and parking revenue, and it could have a transformative impact on that land for our city, including retail. Again, all of this will have to be in a trust-compliant way, and the specifics of any proposals. Again, we are taking as deliberation as port commissioners, so I can't speak on that. But those are my general thoughts.
Now, as far as the administration rumors flying around, can you help us out with that?
Yeah, I will. And what I'll say is
Because I'll tell you what I was told. It's like, he's going to hire Ignacio Delafuente as a CAO. That's what people flying around say.
Yeah. So rumors are not true. We know in a town in our city that people say lots of things,
right?
And lots of things sometimes not with the best intentions in mind. So we may have the political rumor mill at work, but that's okay, because my administration is going to be open and transparent, and I'll tell you now, and I'll say when we're in, it'll be the exact same thing. There's number one, I haven't been elected to anything. Number two, the last time I checked, I was still the underdog in this race. Okay? And so we are absolutely fine and confident playing the David in this situation to the Goliaths that are in the race.
Who are the Goliaths, though?
Well, so Jean is our sitting mayor, and so in our minds, she's the Goliath in this race. But there are certainly people that have been I'm the true outsider. I'm the person that comes in here, knows the city a bit, for sure, because I've lived here so long. I've been chair of the Workforce Investment Board. I'm now Port Commissioner on the board of Holy Names University. But I uniquely come in here, having grown a business in just the last 4 years from 400 million to 700 million, but I can sit in the seat and fill the charter that says that the mayor of Oakland is the CEO of this city. It's the chief executive. And so I think that's the experience that I bring. That's the message of evening up social inequality, of coming from the heart, of being the person that can unite, I think, two Oaklands, because I've walked in that world. I've walked in both of those worlds.
Ignacio de la Fuente is the former District 5 council member. Noel Gallo is now, who was president of the Oakland City Council for some time and chairman of the Oakland Alameda County Joint Powers Authority. Just a little house cleaning there.
Yeah. So no promises for anybody about anything. That is, I would be incredibly humbled and grateful to be elected by the people of the city of Oakland. But we got a lot of wood to chop. I got my slingshots and arrows to load up as being the David in this
You've had lots of
situation.
house meetings, I've heard.
Absolutely.
Before we close, tell my viewers what you learned about Oakland since.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I keep saying
Sure.
I keep saying one more thought.
Sure.
But I do want to share the kind of people that would be in my administration. My mission, I shared with you, is getting at the inequity that exists in the city, is making this a safer and more prosperous city, right? We have a values-driven campaign: faith, economic development, respect, integrity, high achievement. So what I can tell you is how I would pick people to serve alongside me are people that fit that mold. This job and the challenges that this city has, it's too big for any one person. I think that the person is successful at positions. So without talking about any one position, those are the values that I would use. Do you love Oakland? Do you have a unique expertise that can serve the people of the city of Oakland? Number 3, do you have domain capacity in the thing that we're thinking about? And number 4, what are your values? Do your values line up with what I just said? And are you willing to be a change agent, to be urgent, to act in a high achievement way that is transparent and that is measured by metrics and goals?
Well said. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Let's eat.
All right.
All right.
You wanted to go to house parties real quick.
Oh, yeah.
before
Sorry
we-
about that. Yeah, the house party. Right.
Yeah, so on the house party side, look, we have been delighted, and I think that having put in, I think, a solid effort to date on the fundraising side, I think that the part of the message that we're hearing is that people do want change, and not just a little change, but a great big one. And I think that what we're hearing is that City Hall is broken, that it's not delivering, that this is a place where good ideas are often met with skepticism, where innovation and out-of-the-box thinking are rarely embraced, where this concept of being all that Oakland can be hasn't been something that's being pushed. So, look, we've had very good reception in terms of house parties. We'll be publishing numbers coming up, but I would say, compared to previous campaigns, we are ahead of the pace. Another thing that we've been doing is walking neighborhoods, and what I know from walking the hills to walking places in East Oakland, like Sobrani Park or Allen Temple, where I go to church, or the lower bottoms over in Oakland, the people want the same thing. They want to feel safe. They want change that's going to make them feel safe. And they want a city where they have economic opportunities and where their kids, regardless of where they live, can be educated and educated well for today's jobs that are coming. We need a mayor that's going to speak to and be able to unify all of Oakland into one Oakland and not talk about this hills versus the flatlands. We're one Oakland.
And I would say right now we both want the same thing: food. Thanks, Matt.
All right.